Hi, thank you so much for tuning in. This is Angie from Ange'luscious Authentic Dishes, and today I will be preparing ackee with cod loins, fresh cod loins. Now, these are some of the ingredients that will be included today, but I really wanted to show you that tomato. It is called a Kamado tomato, also referred to as chocolate tomatoes. I'm also using pink Himalayan salt. I use it quite often because it has 84 minerals that the body needs. So it mineralizes the body and may reduce blood pressure as well. I also choose to use cayenne pepper. That's just my preference. As you can see, I have fresh cod loins here. These are not the salted cod that most people are accustomed to. Salted cod was used back in the days when there was little or no refrigeration and the salt was used to preserve the meat. So I'm using fresh cod today, which I seasoned with olive oil, a little pink salt, and cayenne pepper, a few pieces of Scotch bonnet, and some thyme. Now, you do not have to use a whole Scotch bonnet pepper in your food. I like spicy food. The heat level from those seeds is through the roof, so this is not something you want to do. I'm then going to bake the cod in the oven for about 10 minutes, after which time it will have cooked. Your fish should be opaque. This is the look that you're trying to achieve. You do not want fishes that are dry. Now, I'm going to use my fork and flake it just a bit. Actually, I'm going to flake the whole thing, but right now I'm just going to rub a little of this into the olive oil where all the flavors have married, and I'll taste it. Mmm. Mmm. Yes, that was divine. Now, I'm going to flake the rest of the fish just like we normally do. You know, when we soak the cod and we flake it all up, I'm going to flake it. But let me taste another piece. Maybe not. It's looking so divine. Yes. But anyways, let's go ahead and saute our onions. I have about 1.5 onions here. You can use less if you choose to. I love onions. I use sweet onions all the time. I didn't use the whole pepper, the Scotch bonnet. I just, cut up a few pieces. I've got 2 Thai chili peppers in there. Those chili peppers are hot. And I've got a little piece of marjoram and thyme. Now, marjoram is a herb that is just truly fragrant. You may see it in the supermarket. You may have walked by because you're only accustomed to thyme or whatever you use in your region of the world, but you definitely want to try marjoram. And we add or chopped garlic into this as well. Our saute is looking beautiful. I used about 2 or 3 cloves of garlic that I rough chopped. If you don't like garlic, you can definitely omit it, but I love garlic. It is a natural antibiotic, and I choose to use it in my dishes. Now this is Wilton. It's sauteing beautifully. Now while the onions are sauteing, let's just take a look at the flaked cod. This is what it should look like. You want to flake it into bite-sized pieces. I don't like little itty bitty pieces of cod in my mouth. I like big pieces. I want to know that there is actually fish in the dish. And as you can see, all the flavors from the thyme and the peppers, everything is running throughout the dish. My onions are cooked. They're translucent. They're cooked all the way through. And it's almost time for me to add the remainder of my ingredients. I used a medley of tomatoes into this dish. I love tomatoes. Tomatoes are juicy. I can eat them raw. I can eat them cooked. I've got cherry tomatoes, red and yellow cherry and grape tomatoes. I've got Campari tomatoes and the Kamado or chocolate tomatoes that I did show you in the beginning. I'm just giving it a quick toss just to combine everything, and I'm going to allow this to saute so that the tomatoes can release their own juices. It's smelling absolutely wonderful in here. It's really aromatic. This is the base of my ackee. This is the base of a lot of my dishes. And as you can see, the tomatoes are now releasing their juices. I added absolutely no liquid to this. Now you also want to season your food. So I'm adding the Himalayan salt here, the pink salt. I'm seasoning my food. I season throughout. I season in layers. I'm not going to tell you exactly how much salt to add because everyone's taste bud is different. So you're going to use the amount of salt that you desire. But flavor your food. Salt enhances the flavor and it balances the dishes. So whatever you're making, you always want to add salt just to balance the dishes. And like I said, this particular salt, it's a worry-free salt because it actually mineralizes your body. I've fed the salt to my grandma time after time and it never ever rises her blood pressure. Now, there is no way that we can actually cook ackee and not have any provisions bubbling on the stove nearby. So yes, I've got my dumplings, a pot load of stuffed dumplings, ripe plantains, green bananas. Yes, I do cook my bananas in the skin. I also cook my potatoes in the skin because it does not absorb a lot of water. Whenever you cook potatoes, whenever you peel the potatoes before you cook it, it's always kind of mushy and it doesn't really taste like potatoes, but the potato maintains its integrity when you cook it whole. And there's also a boost of nutrition there because the potato skins are actually nutritious, very nutritious. As you can see, I've got my yuca or cassava. We call it cassava. Other countries call it yuca. You can peel your plantains or you can leave them, with the skins on. I have some with the skins on and I peeled some just to show you what it looks like. Now, for the ackee, I used canned ackee because I didn't have any fresh one available. And this is a technique that I use. I actually steam it a little over a pot of hot water or scald it, as my mother would say. I, baste it with the hot water just to run some steam through it. And then I add it to my dishes. This is something that I've seen my mother do as a child, and it's a technique that I've actually adapted from her. On to the next stage. Now, as you can see, the onions, the tomatoes, everything's looking beautiful. I did not add any liquid to that. Now we're going to add the fish back into the pan and give it a quick toss just to combine everything before we add the ackee. The fish is already cooked. Don't want to give it, too much. You don't want to dry the fish out. We already cooked it in the oven. So we're just going to go ahead and add the ackee. The ackee was steaming in the strainer, so don't be alarmed. But we're adding the ackee and we're going to give it a quick toss. And this is what it should look like. I don't like to toss it too much because then it, disintegrates, and I really don't like mushy ackee. I kind of like it to maintain its integrity as well. Always remember to season your food. I must be a sucker for punishment because I do love some cayenne pepper. I also love fresh tomatoes. So what I did, I just saved a little bit of the tomatoes that I had chopped up just to add it at the end of the dish because I do like that burst of flavor into my mouth. They're really juicy. This is a step that you can actually omit, but this is something that I prefer. If you like your tomatoes cooked all the way through, you do not have to add the tomatoes at the end. But this is our finished product. Here we go. Ackee with fresh cod loins. Now, I don't know about you, but I am getting ready to devour this thing here. This is Jamaica's national dish. Ackee and cod. Actually, ackee and salted cod is their national dish, but in this version, there is a fresh cod. Now this is my plate. Looking lovely, isn't it? Got my bananas, my dumpling, my plantains. They're really sweet. Love ripe plantains. They're sweet and good. And here are my potatoes. See, the potatoes are whole, they're not mushy, and it actually tastes like potatoes. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. Be blessed.